Part 14. The Strongest Assassin in the Server. Author, B.A. Wangshi-san. Chapter 131. Black Wolf King, Golden Lord. Level 20. HP. Skills. Note, Ian, the young master of Bayun City, has gone berserk. Due to different recognition, players can see different information. At this moment, including Tank, everyone looked confused. Compared to Yuchen, they could not see the note. Tank, it is Ian, Yuchen reminded. What are we waiting for? Let's go and save it. That elite group is obviously treating it as a boss. Tank was anxious and wanted to rush forward, but was stopped by Yuchen. What can we do if we save it? It has gone berserk and turned into a beast. Do you have a way to turn it back into an orc? Tank was shocked, and everyone was silent. After all, it was an S-level mission, and it was not so easy to complete. What should we do now? If we don't save it, I'm afraid it will be brushed as a boss. Tank smiled bitterly. As a playboy, he certainly wouldn't really care about Ian's life or death. On the contrary, he was probably looking forward to what kind of expression the city lord would have after Ian's death. Yuchen knew him too well. However, now it was related to whether he could complete the S-level task and become the leader of the alliance, so he cared so much. Leave its safety to us. Tank, you go back to the city to find the city lord now. After explaining the situation, you may get a hint for the next step of the task, Yuchen said. City lord? Khan, my letter of introduction is not high enough. I am not qualified to meet the city lord. Tank laughed awkwardly, and Yuchen was slightly surprised, but also expressed his understanding. At this stage, except for the real leaders of the major alliances, I am afraid no one is qualified to meet the city lord. The use of the letter of introduction is really large and wide, which is why Yuchen cared so much at that time. Okay, let's kill this team first, and then I will go to the city lord in person. Yuchen glanced at the elite group in front. It was a team of 30 people. If he went back to the city now, the remaining tanks would definitely not be able to handle it. In addition, he was also worried that if he went back to the city to find the city lord and asked Tank and others to keep an eye on the boss, they might lose it. After all, thieves are professionals in tracking, and other professions are not good at it. In the team, there were no other thieves except himself and Xiaomao. Xiaomao was not online today, obviously accompanying Huo Wu. So, Yuchen sent a message to Xiaoqi, asking him to come and help. Kill. First trick the other party into attacking. After everything was done, Yuchen waved his hand, and everyone deliberately shouted and rushed up. The other team was obviously startled, and several back row immediately threw skills, causing malicious attacks. In this way, Yuchen and others killed them back, and they would not be red-named. I am Tianxue, the leader of the 6th group of the Hall of Fame. You guys dare to steal our boss? Are you looking for death? The other leader yelled, and as soon as he finished speaking, he felt a chill in his throat, and then Yuchen's figure appeared in front of him. Stealth and throat slitting. -1850 seconds. Tianxue's eyes were filled with shock and anger, and he fell down with a bang. What a terrifying thief! Shield warriors, hold the boss, the rest of you follow me, let's kill them together. Generally, the leader of an elite group is the leader, which is recognized by the system. But in many cases, a leader can't command at all, and because of this, many elite groups will be equipped with a deputy leader. Although the system does not give the actual position of deputy leader, it is enough for the players and the team to recognize it. At this moment, the other team leader died, and the deputy leader began to take over the command, leaving only 2 shield warriors to hold the boss, and most people rushed forward. Magic Circle, Dark Surge. Breaking Martial Arts. Poisoning. Lazy Potion. The tank reacted quickly and immediately released a black energy circle, covering the 20-yard range in front. Now, he has practiced the Dark Surge to LV2, and the team members are in the magic circle, and all attributes are increased by 20%. Then, Yechen activated the buff in seconds, sprinted and dodged, stun, stab, and spin stab. Shadow attack. He killed one person in one step, even a warrior, he could kill him in seconds with his skills. For squishy skin, ordinary attacks can kill them in seconds. Horrible as a devil. In a flash, half of the enemy's troops were lost. The whole group retreats, seeing that he couldn't fight any further, the deputy leader of the other side decisively ordered a retreat. When everyone was about to chase, Yechen waved his hand to stop them. Then, he snatched the hatred of the Black Wolf King, led him away a little, and then used Xiao He to contain him. After 5 seconds, he withdrew from the combat state and then sneaked and became invisible. Woo-ah! The Black Wolf King lost his enemy in the rage, roared, and fled into the depths of the Black Forest. Follow! Yechen ordered and rushed out first. About half an hour later, Xiao Qi finally arrived, and Yechen handed over the baton to him. Okay, keep an eye on the boss, and be careful of the people in the Hall of Fame, Yechen instructed, crushing the teleport back to the city. After returning to Bayun City, Yechen entered the city lord's mansion smoothly, but what he saw was a starry night and day, and in the sky, there was a blood-red full moon. A full moon night. Yechen was slightly surprised. No matter how realistic the game is, it is not as good as reality. In order to give players a better experience, Dream World is basically daytime, and it will turn into night every 2 months. On that day, the night lasts for 24 hours, and monsters will attack the city at the same time. Of course, if the player is caught in a special plot, he can occasionally encounter the night. Hey, it's a full moon night every day recently. Every night, the city lord will be intoxicated by looking at the moon. Last month, the young city lord was crazy about looking at the moon, turned into a black wolf, and escaped from Bayun City. This matter made the city lord very anxious, the guard who entertained Yechen sighed. Is it a full moon night every day? Yechen suddenly thought of something and sneered in his heart. Then, after the guard pointed out the city lord's residence to him, he said goodbye and left. At the same time, Yechen opened his blood-red eyes. Looking around, he really found something strange. I saw the red moon in the sky, strangely close to the ground, and at this moment, ripples were rippling around it. This is a fart moon, it's just a magic array elf. Yechen suddenly made a move, and a golden dart was shot towards the red moon. The magic array elf noticed something strange and moved to the side to avoid Yechen's attack. Hey, did you see it just now? The moon suddenly moved. Yeah, it's too weird, I always feel that this moon is a bit fake, it feels like it's too close to us. The guards in the mansion noticed something strange and whispered. Yechen shot darts repeatedly, and the magic array elf was very flexible and dodged left and right. How dare you? Who released a hidden weapon in my mansion? Yechen tried to kill the magic array elf but failed, and suddenly a violent wolf roar came. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 132. With a furious wolf roar, a burly werewolf wearing golden armor strode into the courtyard, and a powerful pressure surged towards Yechen. City Lord, you have fallen into an illusion. That red moon is the eye of the formation. Just look at it if you don't believe me. Facing the strong pressure, Yechen felt that his hands and feet were a little stiff, but he was not afraid at all. He raised his hand and shot out a golden dart. As expected, Hong Yu moved to the side to avoid it. Yes, City Lord, don't you think it's strange? It's been a full moon for many days in a row, and it's still red. This moon is so close to the ground, and it can actually move, and it moves very fast. After being reminded by Ye Chen, the guards became more and more suspicious of the Red Moon, and tried to persuade the city lord. Snort. The city lord narrowed his deep eyes, snorted coldly, then jumped up suddenly, stood in the void, swung his claws down, and 3 blood-red scratches were cut on the sky. Immediately, the red moon exploded and turned into red. The stars fell. As soon as the red light in the courtyard disappeared, the stars in the sky were no longer there. High in the sky, a crescent moon released a bright light, making the field of vision darker, but also more peaceful and peaceful. Humph, there is indeed something wrong with that werewolf shaman, so I should treat him politely. The city lord landed with a bang, muttered, then turned to look at Ye Chen, and said apologetically, "Little brother, I have misunderstood you. Let me tell you, what do you want from me? I have found a young city lord, and now he has turned into a wolf." Roar. That damn werewolf shaman. Little brother, I hope you can help me bring Ian back safely. Of course, before that, you need to use the ancient bell to recover from his madness. The city lord was grateful. Said. Hearing this, Ye Chen smiled slightly. Obviously, this calming bell is the key to this mission. Knowing the next step of the mission, Ye Chen said goodbye, came out of the city lord's mansion, and found the high priest. Because the high priest happened to have a calming bell in his hand. Of course, even if he knew that the high priest had the ancient bell in his hand, Ye Chen would not dare to steal it. Stealing Suanwu is one thing, but stealing the high priest is another. When he stole Suanwu, he used a sneak attack to jump on Suanwu's back. This was equivalent to being stuck. Suanwu had no choice but to let him steal. But the high priest is different. If you steal in front of him, he will kill you immediately. Your Majesty, the high priest, young city lord Ian has transformed into a wolf. I was entrusted by the city lord to lend you the calming bell. Ye Chen deliberately moved the city lord out. Both parties are saint-level powerhouses, so they should be taken care of. To save each other's face. However, the high priest was in a very depressed mood and murmured, "Adventurer, my crystal ball is lost. Now I am very heartbroken and don't want to be disturbed." Wipe. What kind of bird mission is this? After all, it has to do with the crystal ball. Fortunately, I know the whereabouts of the crystal ball. Ye Chen chuckled secretly and went to find the old appraisal man again. "Master, you needed the crystal ball in the first place just to help Yaya identify her talent. Now that you have finished using it, I think you should return it to the high priest." "I think he is in a very low mood," Ye Chen discussed with the old man. "What does it have to do with me that he's depressed? Damn it, Grandma, you were the one who issued the mission to steal someone else's crystal ball." Ye Chen said something in his mind, shrugged and said, "Okay, old man, let's not beat around the bush and just make the conditions." Hearing this, the old man laughed sullenly and said, "You need to steal another thing for me." "Stealing again? Okay, as long as there is no danger, I don't care." "Well, I'm afraid it's a bit dangerous this time." "Tisk tisk, don't go too far. In the worst case, I'll tell the high priest directly that the crystal ball is in your hand now and ask him to get it from you personally." Ye Chen raised his eyebrows. "But I'm just the one who issued the mission. After all, it's you who steals the crystal ball." "Okay, you win. Who do you steal? What do you steal?" Facing this shameless old man, Ye Chen gave in immediately. "Old man Kinji, steal his 1000 machine fan." A trace of excitement flashed in the old man's eyes. "Old man Kinji has taught me his skills and he is half my teacher. How do you want me to start?" "It's easier to start with someone you're familiar with." "Okay, I'll promise you for the time being. Time is running out. Please give me the crystal ball first." Ye Chen thought about it and agreed. Afterwards, the old appraisal man issued a theft mission to him, an S-level limited time mission. There are 3 days in total. If Ye Chen fails to complete the task within the specified time, he will be severely punished. After accepting the task, the old appraisal man handed the crystal ball to Ye Chen. At the same time, he did not forget to tell him, "Boy, don't poke me out. Don't worry, we are in the same boat." Ye Chen smiled and found the high priest holding the crystal ball. The high priest took the crystal ball from his hand in surprise, touched it left and right, and after a long time, he stared at Ye Chen warily. "Could it be you? Did you steal the crystal ball from me? How is that possible? See clearly, I am a proud assassin, not an insidious thief." When the acting started, Ye Chen looked like he was wronged and heartbroken, and finally showed his letter of introduction, "Chief Assassin of the League of Assassins." "Even so, how did you find this crystal ball?" The high priest's face softened slightly, but he still didn't believe it. "I just found a dog, an unusual old dog. I followed him and finally found this crystal ball." Ye Chen said seriously, "I know it's hard for you to believe, but I'm telling the truth." "Dog? Why dog? I heard that cats like shiny things. Do dogs like them too? Maybe. After all, that dog is so different." "Okay, then I believe you and praise you on behalf of the gods. This is the soothing bell. I'll lend it to you temporarily. I hope you can return it as soon as possible." The misunderstanding was resolved, and the high priest returned to his kind and amiable appearance. Ye Chen took the soothing bell and ran out of the city. "God, yeah, I've tried my best. But the Hall of Fame has sent out several elite groups to surround the Black Wolf King. I'm afraid it's impossible for us to get it back." About 10 minutes later, Xiao Qi sent a voice message to Ye Chen. "It's okay. We don't need to get it back." Ye Chen laughed. Now he just needs to go over and ring the soothing bell, and the Black Wolf King will turn back into the young city Lord Ian. At that time, will the Hall of Fame dare to take action? Impossible. On the contrary, Ian will suddenly rise up and kill them. Kill them all. "Tank, don't let the Black Wolf King be killed before I arrive." Ye Chen sent a message to Tank, and rode on the somersault cloud, rushing towards the dark forest at high speed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 133. Ye Chen, you just left the city now? I'm afraid it's too late. 3 regiments from the Hall of Fame came to besiege the Black Wolf King together. The boss can last for up to 5 minutes. Tank's anxious voice came from his ears, and Yuchen's pupils narrowed. 2 seconds later, he slapped his forehead with a smile. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. What did he do in the past? It was originally the mission of the tank. Now he just mailed the ancient bell, right? Tank, I will mail you a calming bell now. Ringing it will restore Ian to his original state. Yuchen sent a voice message and mailed the calming bell at the same time. 3 minutes later. Deep in the dark forest. The mad wolf roared. At this moment, Hall of Fame, led by Gao Ming, Tianzhuai and Deng Liang, led 3 groups to crazily ravage the boss with remaining health, and was about to get the first kill. At the same time, Tank received Yuchen's email, took out a blue wind chime, moved his big hand lightly, and a clear and sweet ringing sound came out. This ringtone is like the air conditioner in summer, and the strong wind on a hot day. Everyone feels their heads are cool, their spirits are refreshed, and their whole body is completely renewed. More importantly, the scarlet eyes of the Black Wolf King also became clear. Immediately, white light flashed, and the wolf stood upright. In an instant, it turned into a handsome man with a dark face, green vellus hair, and a tall body. The young lord of Baiun City Ian. These big characters appeared above his head. How dare you do anything against me, Ian's thick eyebrows furrowed in anger, and he roared furiously. Kindness. Everyone was suffocated, seeing that Ian only had a small amount of blood, but they stopped the attack abruptly. This guy is actually the son of the city lord. Where is the promised Black Wolf King and the promised Golden Lord? We defeated the last drop of blood and he suddenly transformed. Idiot. If he doesn't transform, we will accidentally kill the city lord's son. By then, will we still be able to survive in Bayun City? For a moment, the expressions of everyone in the Hall of Fame became wonderful, full of shock, unwillingness, and anger, but most of them were happy. Suddenly. Go crazy. A wolf roar suddenly sounded, and Ian's body glowed with bloodthirsty red light. Green wolf hairs grew on his body at a speed visible to the naked eye, and his head turned into a ferocious wolf head. This is the true madness, the innate skills of the orcs, the madness of alien beasts. In a short period of time, Ian turned into a terrifying werewolf like his father. He just gasped and white mist spurted out. The strength of the level 20 Golden Lord is only beginning to be revealed now. I see. I was wondering just now, why is the level 20 Golden Lord so easy to farm? Among the Hall of Fame team, a front row shield warrior sighed, but before he could finish speaking, Ian slashed his face with a claw, and 3 bloodlines appeared, killing him instantly. Roar. Ian roared loudly, rushed into the crowd, and started killing wildly. Those who don't know are not guilty. It was his luck that we didn't kill him just now, but now he's attacking us instead. The Hall of Fame is known as a show-off hall on the outside, and everyone is not a good person. Now that they are frustrated, they are suddenly furious. Everyone saw many brothers die in an instant, their eyes turned red, and finally they all looked at Gao Ming, waiting for his order. Gao Ming narrowed his eyes and opened them again. He repeated this process several times before completely going berserk. Hack to death. Brothers, it's just a game, is it necessary to be so aggrieved? If you don't accept it, do it. Gao Ming roared angrily, and slashed at Ian with his sword first. With a splash of blood, he knocked out a lot of his health again. Haha, it's so cool. Brothers, hack him to death, hack the city lord's son to death. With Gao Ming taking the lead, everyone worked together to bombard him, and within seconds, Ian died tragically. Tank was stunned. Damn it, this bastard actually dared to kill the son of the city lord, this is my S-level mission. At the same time, a loudspeaker sounded over Bayun City. Bayun City broadcast, the players Gao Xiao, Tianshui, and Liang Liang, have killed the city's young city lord, and the crime value add 100 points. The broadcast rang 3 times in a row, and all the players in Bayun City were stunned. Geez, who is this young Master Gao? Directly killing the young city lord of Bayun City? Just grab it? This is a stupid game, I'll just give in to him. 6 exploded. A bunch of SBS. Killing the young city lord is enough to satisfy your cravings, but it will increase your sin points by 100 points and become a super famous name. Is this worth it? A night god appears on the front foot and steals the Suan Wu. A Gao Xiao appears on the back foot and chops down the young city lord. Our light camp is so awesome, who can compare with those gangsters from the dark camp? The players each expressed their opinions, and from time to time some wealthy people started broadcasting. Bayun City Radio, Initiator, as cool as a dog. Mr. Gao, you are really bad at this game, I admire you. Bayun City Broadcasting, Initiator, I am the one with the most mouth. Mr. Gao, I admit this time, you are a little bit better than me. Bayun City Broadcasting, Initiator, Ao Wushuan very good. After the red name disappeared, he became the captain of the first team of the Hall of Fame. The young city lord was killed, and a group of local tycoons began to blast the broadcasts. The Hall of Fame leader Ao Wushuan personally supported him and made Gao Ming the captain of the first team. Ordinary players couldn't hold back such explosive news, and their whole bodies trembled with excitement. For a moment, Gao Ming's reputation reached the sky. The limelight is no less impressive than that of Night God. Gao Ming and others also had red faces, with smiles on their lips from time to time, and they felt so happy that they couldn't express it in words. However, this chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Roar. A roar exploded like a missile, thundering across the entire Bayun city, and all the players were stunned again. In a flash, a bloodthirsty red light rushed into the sky in the center of Bayun city, who is so arrogant that he actually killed my only son. Then a roar exploded in the sky, indicating that the person who spoke was standing in the sky. I saw that the bloodthirsty red light in the sky flickered a few times, as if it had sensed something, and quickly swept out. Target, Dark Forest. Not good. Saint Domain Strongman. Brothers, get off the line quickly. The Saint Domain Strongman can fly. The level is at least above level 80. Who can withstand the rage? Why is it difficult to capture the main city after the camp starts a war? That's because every main city has at least a few Saint Domain Masters. Although the Black Tortoise Beast Soul is also a Saint Beast, it is only level 15 after all and cannot fly. Its strength is obviously far behind that of a true Saint Domain Master. Gao Ming made a prompt decision and ordered everyone to log off. Their sin value is as high as 100. After they die, they will be locked up in a small dark room for several days. That's the real misery. A few minutes later, the city lord came to the battlefield and saw that the villain who killed his son had disappeared. He cried out in grief. He rushed over and hugged his son's body, tears streaming down his face. Ian is dead? It's okay, senior sister Xiaoro, go up and revive him. Ye Chen was riding the somersault cloud and was still rushing to the battlefield, but the broadcast was deafening just now, and the city lord roared and roared. He could also guess the current situation and immediately said in the team channel. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 134. Resurrection is a rare skill of priests, and it is the best among all rare skills. Its rarity and actual effect are not inferior to higher level special skills. Such powerful skills are limited in production. Not to mention every day, there are probably only a few copies every month. The total number of players in the Chinese war zone alone is close to 1 billion, and it is really rare to get it. Xiaoro does not have the resurrection technique, but she has imitation. And she has copied the resurrection technique. At this moment, she saw the message sent by Ye Chen, and immediately stepped forward. Under the surprised eyes of the city lord, she released a sacred light, caressing Ian like a breeze. The next moment, Ian, who was originally dead, opened his eyes again. Ah! Respectable priest, I really don't know how to thank you, the werewolf city lord said gratefully. Ian in his arms also looked at Xiaoro with great respect. Suddenly, another broadcast sounded. Bayun City broadcast, player Xiaoro resurrected Ian, the young city lord of the city. Receive 5 million experience points, 10 gold coins, and 3 skill points. The broadcast was repeated 3 times, shocking the majority of players again. It was just that Gao Ming was pretending to be cool, and all the benefits were taken by Xiaoro. Not only did she level up directly, but she also got 3 skill points as a reward. Big Breast was also very envious of this. As a priest, Xiaoro had the ability to resurrect, and she had 3 more skill points than him. The gap gradually widened. After thanking him profusely, the werewolf father and son returned to Bayun City. At the same time, Tank also completed the S-level task. On this basis, if he completed a few more A-level tasks, he would definitely be the leader of the alliance on the first day of next month. But A-level tasks can be done at any time, but there is no rush now. When Yechen was just setting the subsequent plot of Tank's S-level task, the City Lord's mansion was imposed with an illusion array, which was probably released by the werewolf shaman mentioned by the City Lord. Although Yechen did not dare to conclude, this is very likely a hidden task. A few minutes later, Yechen and Tank met up in Bayun City and headed towards the City Lord's mansion together. Seeing Xiaoro, the guards hurriedly saluted respectfully, without stopping her at all, allowing Xiaoro to lead everyone into the City Lord's mansion. Obviously, this was the reason why the City Lord and Ian had the highest level of favorability towards Xiaoro. Favorability is hidden, but the system does have this setting. When the player's favorability with a certain NPC reaches the maximum value, he will be respected by that NPC, and it will be very easy to accept tasks. Then, Yechen and others were warmly received by the City Lord. "Adventurers, you came at the right time. I was just about to raise manpower to deal with that abominable werewolf shaman," the City Lord said. "In that case, the City Lord will assign this task to us," Yechen said. "Since you are willing to help, that's great." The City Lord smiled generously, and then explained some precautions, but until the end, he did not issue the task. This is obviously the rhythm of the hidden mission. Everything needs to be explored by the player. Only by taking all the points into consideration and completing the mission will the system prompt and reward be obtained. The team went west all the way, following the coordinates given by the City Lord, and finally found a wolf cave in the second half of the dark forest. System: you found the werewolf cave, recognition add 5. Unlike the darkness of ordinary caves, this wolf cave is very large, with strange firelight flashing inside. This made everyone save torches and walk forward, and found that this cave was narrow outside and wide inside, with a different world. The space inside this cave was surprisingly large, and there were many forks. In various dark corners, there were some level 19 shadow wolves lying. When the shadow wolves saw the enemy breaking into their territory, they growled, their figures became illusory, and they completely merged into the darkness. This is their stealth. Bloody eyes. Yechen's eyes suddenly flashed red, and he raised his hand to throw darts, trying to force the shadow wolves out as much as possible. Shield strike. Tank strode forward and held off the attacking shadow wolf, but after the shadow wolf swung out 3 claws like lightning, he was left with little health. Xiaoro and Denai were so scared that they rushed to treat him. Spinning stab. Seeing this, Yechen immediately rushed forward, turned his body, and the sharp dagger brought blood. Then shadow attack came behind the shadow wolf, backstab plus final blow equals piercing the heart. Killed instantly with one set. The shadow wolf is a level 19 monster, with additional dark attribute attacks, and the dark power is also very high. Everyone, be careful. After Yechen gave the instructions, his heart was beating fast. He was not familiar with this cave at all, and the monsters were all very high level. He could not kill them in one skill. He didn't know whether it was wise to challenge them now. While thinking, he also stepped forward quickly, and with Xiao Hei's restraint, he quickly killed several shadow wolves. Yechen, the level of the monsters in this cave is too high, I'm a little weak. Tank was hit by a wave of shadow wolves, and now he is a little scared. He is only level 13 now, and his equipment is mixed. If he didn't have a shield, his defense might not be as good as a baby with a set of level 15 purple equipment. Such a shield warrior is not qualified. Okay, everyone go to the auction house to buy a set of purple equipment and puzzles, and I will reimburse you in RMB later. Yechen is not a local tyrant now, but he is also a rich man. He can make tens of thousands of dollars just by reselling purple equipment every day. Now it's time to spend some money to improve the level of the team's equipment. A set of purple equipment? A set of puzzles. Brother Chen, I love you. Tank and others were so excited that their eyes turned red. Yechen, but I don't love you. More than 10 minutes later, Everyone picked their equipment one after another, and the overall attributes increased by 2 or 3 levels. Especially Tank, a set of purple armor, plus a physical puzzle, HP soared to 2600 plus. A little calculation, Yechen will be reimbursed about 50,000. This little money, he doesn't care much now, he can earn back his capital in one day. What's more, the team will upgrade their equipment and strengthen their combat effectiveness, and they will earn back their capital with interest in the future. Tank, are you still scared now? Yechen asked with a smile. You're still scared with 2600 plus HP? Please boss, come out quickly, brother Tank will lead you to be a god. Wander, 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 I won't let you die. Yechen laughed twice. It was just a set of purple clothes, but Tank couldn't control himself. When he threw out the black tortoise shield, I really doubted whether this guy would be scared to incontinence. Okay, you wait here, I'll go explore the way first. There are several forks in the deep cave, and there is only one werewolf shaman. Yechen needs to find him first, and then lead the team to kill him. Opening up the wasteland is like this. The thief first explores the way, and after determining the route, he remotely directs the team to move forward. Because Yechen is a reborn, he is very familiar with most maps. Now, it is the first time for him to lead a team to open up the wasteland, a real opening up of the wasteland. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 135. Yechen sneaked into the forks, encountered some shadow wolves on the way, and avoided them one by one. This shadow wolf is a level 19 elite monster, and it can be invisible. Fortunately, there are not many of them, otherwise it will be extremely difficult to open up the wasteland. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. In some forks, Yechen encountered many traps and mechanisms, including spikes that suddenly grew from the ground, arrows that suddenly shot from the corners of the wall, and 2-meter deep pits that would fall into if stepped on. Checking traps and destroying traps are originally the work of thieves. Because the thief has a skill called trap removal at level 20, with this skill, the thief can destroy the found traps and mechanisms to avoid threats to the team. Of course, traps are also divided into levels. The higher the level of the trap, the more advanced the trap removal is required to destroy it. In other words, the skill of trap removal is a must-learn for thieves, and it must also be practiced to a high level. At the same time, thieves also need keen insight, to find traps and destroy them. If the team is threatened by traps, or even the back row professions are accidentally killed by traps, then the thief is unqualified. However, Yechen is only level 15 now, and he cannot learn to remove traps. Because of this, under normal circumstances, only monster areas above level 20 will have traps and mechanisms, of course, except for some special maps. Many forks in the road are dead ends, so Yechen turned back, joined the team, and headed towards the last intersection. Obviously, the werewolf shaman is in this cave. Moving forward, Yechen first discovered the trap and shot a dart to mark it. He has not yet removed the trap, so he can only lead the team to bypass it. If it is really impossible to bypass it, he will let the tank raise the shield to block it and minimize the threat of the trap. Not long after the team moved forward, they found some upright werewolves. They are about 2 yards long, with protruding fangs and bloodthirsty red eyes. When he found the enemy, he rushed over without saying a word. Bang! The tank went forward with a huge shield. The werewolf's attack speed was very fast, and it could attack twice in 1 second, but the tank's defense and HP were enhanced, so there would be no danger in a short time. Moreover, after Xiaoro and Big Milk's equipment were upgraded, the amount of treatment also increased significantly. With their assistance, the tank was even less afraid. Fatty and Baby, 2 berserkers, also rushed up, helping the tank share the hatred while also dealing a lot of damage. After they consumed the werewolf to the point of residual blood, Yechen rushed over, used several skills in succession, and took it away in one wave. Very smooth. After the team's equipment was updated, their strength was significantly enhanced. So, they followed this rhythm and quickly hit the deepest part of the cave, and the strange red light became brighter and brighter. Yechen looked up and suddenly found that there was a big hole on the top of the cave, and there was a blood-red full moon hanging high outside. I think the red light in the cave came from this. This is obviously a magic array, and it is an illusion magic array. It has only one effect, which is to make wolves and werewolves lose their minds and enter a frenzy state. Yechen tried many times in the city lord's mansion, but he could not hit the center of the array and destroy this illusion array. This illusion array is obviously of a very high level. It actually stayed in the city lord's mansion for nearly 2 months. In the end, it was destroyed by the city lord himself. Its awesomeness can be seen. Right below the scarlet full moon, there is an altar filled with blood. There is a black flame burning under the altar, which makes the blood hot and makes a gurgling sound. Next to the altar, an old werewolf in a cloak, with his hands clasped together, chanting some obscure language. Woo woo. Suddenly, a suppressed sob sounded. Yechen and others looked in the direction of the sound, but saw some orcs in the corner, with their mouths sealed, their hands and feet tied, and locked in an iron cage like slaves. Next to him, there were 2 strong werewolves holding long whips, whipping and threatening. That's enough. The old werewolf finished his chant, and his ferocious wolf mouth cracked, and a vicissitudes of life suddenly came out. Hearing this, the 2 strong werewolves, under the horrified eyes of many orc slaves, grabbed an orc and threw him into the altar with a thump. Ah, the orc struggled in pain, with veins on his face rolling. After the cloth covering his mouth fell off, he let out a miserable roar. Immediately, strands of blood drilled into his eyes, ears, mouth, and nose like a little snake, and the intense pain corroded his will. Finally, his eyes turned white and he sank under the altar. A few seconds later, a ferocious werewolf jumped out of the blood pool. His eyes were scarlet, cold-blooded, and ruthless. Seeing this, the group of orc slaves were trembling with fear. They were afraid that they would become like that. Bloodthirsty werewolf, elite. Level 20. HP, 4800/4800. Skills, Savage Charge, Tier. Ha ha ha, it worked, it finally worked, the old werewolf roared excitedly. At the same time, a group of ordinary werewolves began to dance and cheer. The bloodthirsty werewolf did not dance with them. It completely turned into a beast and began to wreak havoc. It turned its head suddenly and found Yechen and others. It roared and rushed over. Shield strike. The tank rushed up to hold it, and Yechen rushed out with a throat slash, cutting the bloodthirsty werewolf's throat, -1690. Going around behind it, he accumulated combo points after hitting it with a club, and shot it through the heart with a backstab and finishing blow. Monkey, fire gun, with that altar, all those orc slaves will become bloodthirsty werewolves. Hurry up and use a blast of fire to blow it up, Tank said anxiously. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Hearing this, Monkey was about to make a move, but Yechen stopped him and said, "Don't worry, Tank, I suspect that if you soak in that blood pool, you may be able to change your job to become a werewolf beast species. How about it, do you dare to try?" Tank was stunned, and his heart was agitated. Although the hidden race is not as awesome as the hidden profession, it is still stronger than the ordinary race. Since there is an advantage, how can he not be tempted? Hurry, those people are trying to destroy the altar. Hurry up and throw all the orc slaves in, the old werewolf screamed anxiously, and the werewolves immediately moved after hearing this, throwing all 10 orc slaves into the blood pool. At Yechen's signal, Monkey Fire Tube did not release skills to destroy the altar. 10 seconds later, All the orc slaves turned into bloodthirsty werewolves and rushed out frantically. Magic circle, darkness surges. Tank released the magic circle, which strengthened the overall attributes of everyone, but still had a disadvantage in the face of 10 bloodthirsty werewolves. Yachen's set of skills can only kill one bloodthirsty werewolf in a second, and the following skill vacuum period is very painful. Not long after, the most aggressive baby was killed. Seeing this, Yachen couldn't help but sigh. Without Huowu, the overall strength of the team has dropped by at least 30%. Monkey Fire Tube is also a fire mage, but their flame impact often can't hit people, let alone control like Huowu. From this point of view, the gap between ordinary players and top players is really like a natural chasm. Low-level mental stimulation elixir. Yachen knocked out a bottle of CD potion and sneaked among the monsters. When the CD was up, he could take one away with one set, reducing the pressure on the team. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 136. Yachen's damage is unquestionable. With the double bonus of Xiaohei and the blood tree, his damage is absolutely off the charts. Even if he now has a holy dagger, his combat power cannot be greatly improved. What he lacks now is skills. Now he has only 5 output skills, and the CD can't keep up with the rhythm. When he is having fun, he has no skills, and the vacuum period is quite long, which is very embarrassing. But skills still have to follow the level, which can't be rushed. At this moment, Yachen knocked out a bottle of CD potion, and the harvesting frequency was a little faster. Even so, it takes him an average of 20 seconds to take away a bloodthirsty werewolf, and some of them have been beaten to residual blood by teammates and he was the last one. Fortunately, his teammates are strong enough. After a few minutes, they killed a group of bloodthirsty werewolves, and no one died. The remaining old werewolves, who are actually werewolf shamans, and a few ordinary werewolves, are no longer a big threat. Soon, everyone came together to clear out the remaining werewolves. As for the old werewolf, they couldn't kill him for the time being. Because Yachen was afraid that after killing him, the illusion array would automatically disappear. For orcs to evolve into alien species, a certain ritual is required. The blood altar is one of them, and the illusion array is probably also a key part of it. Tank, jump, you'll be dead. Damn it, the sooner you die, the sooner you'll be reborn. Seeing that Tank's legs were shaking in front of the blood pool, and he didn't dare to jump, everyone urged him impatiently. I want to become an alien man. Being stimulated by everyone, Tank couldn't control himself and suddenly jumped into the hot blood pool. Wow, so cool. In the blood pool, Tank's face instantly tightened and turned red, and his teeth were clenched and snapped, obviously in great pain. However, he was stubborn and still said it was so cool, which made people laugh. After a few breaths, hot blood surged up, like a group of dense little snakes, and began to drill into Tank's eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. The latter's entire face was covered with blood, which was creepy. This time, Tank's duck mouth could not be hardened anymore, and he gathered all his thoughts and began to bear and resist this pain. Everyone stopped joking and looked tense. Xiaoro was a girl after all, and her immunity to such scenes was very low. She turned her head away immediately and couldn't bear to watch it anymore. Suddenly, Tank's HP began to drop like a stream of water. Quick! Priest treatment! Yachen shouted, and the big breast slowed down for half a second and successfully threw out the treatment, while Xiaoro was shocked and sweated. She threw out the treatment in a hurry and finally caught up. But this little accident left a deep impression on her and benefited a lot from it. So, with the help of the two priests, Tank survived and underwent amazing changes in the blood pool. First, hair began to grow on his face, blue-black wolf hair. Then the whole head changed, his eyes were sharp, his pupils were upright, his wolf mouth was bulging, his fangs were exposed, and he finally evolved into a werewolf. Aha, I succeeded. After evolving into a werewolf, Tank jumped out of the blood pool, splashing hot blood, which dripped down and corroded the ground, causing white smoke. Haha, good. Great. Perfect. Tank stood upright in his werewolf form, especially his pupils, which were cold and ruthless, but he retained his sanity. His evolution was so perfect that the old werewolf couldn't help crying with joy. His years of research results were finally not in vain. Good boy, hurry up, kill them. Old man, are you stupid? Tank turned his head casually and snorted coldly. But at this moment, the old werewolf's eyes flashed red, and the eye of the formation connected to the sky, that is, the bloody full moon, also flashed a dazzling red light. Ah! Tank roared uncontrollably, his eyes suddenly turned blood red, his teeth clenched, and he roared fiercely. Everyone, I feel like I can't stop, kill me. Before he went completely berserk, Tank spoke with difficulty. At the same time, everyone looked at each other and finally stared at Ye Chen. It's okay, anyway, he has evolved into a different beast, now we can kill him. Ye Chen smiled lightly, then restrained his expression and ran out quickly. At the same time, the monkey's petrification attack hit Tank, causing him to fall into a petrified state. Throat slash. -7808. Ye Chen cut Tank's throat with a knife, blood gushed out, and it actually triggered a long-lost one-hit kill effect. Direct damage overflow, Tank was easily killed in seconds. Shadow attack. Ye Chen's offensive continued, and while Tank's body had not fallen down, he used a dagger to whip the body, and then teleported to the back of the old werewolf. Backstab and finishing blow. Piercing the heart. Because the throat slash and shadow attack had accumulated enough combo points, he stabbed the old werewolf in the back with a dagger, causing him to howl miserably, -3660. Stun. -1200. Then, Ye Chen knocked him out again, and after 2 normal attacks, he accumulated enough combo points again. Spin stab and finishing blow. Combo. Ye Chen suddenly turned around, and the high-speed rotation made his strength stronger in an instant. The sharp dagger brought a splash of blood, and dealt more than 2000 points of damage. Then, spin stab again. Swish. -2930. Ye Chen used a whole set of skills in less than 5 seconds, dealing more than 10,000 damage in total. After killing the tank instantly, he killed the old werewolf. Like a humanoid harvester. The most terrifying. The old werewolf was just a level 20 lord. He was killed first at this moment, and only a purple suit was dropped. Of course, there were also a bunch of copper coins and materials. This incident ended here, but the system prompt did not come. This means that their hidden mission failed. Hidden missions are like this. There is no prompt. It is very likely that they just missed one of the links, which led to the failure of the final mission. For example, they did not rescue the group of orcs. But the mission obviously failed, but everyone had a smile on their faces, because the tank evolved into a different beast species. In comparison, what does the failure of the hidden mission count for? It doesn't matter. Miss Xiao, how long is your resurrection CD? If I have time, I won't go back to the city to revive, and I can still pick up a level. After the tank died, he still had vision, but it was gray. At this moment, he saw that Ye Chen had dealt with the old werewolf, so he sent a message to Xiaoro in the team channel. Resurrection, CD, 1 hour. Imitation, CD, copy skill CD *2, which is 2 hours. Xiaoro resurrected Ian once before, and now more than an hour has passed since then. After the player dies, the body can only be kept for half an hour at most. If it is not resurrected during this period, it will automatically be teleported back to the city to revive, and it will drop 1 level. It's still in time, just wait another 10 minutes. Xiaoro smiled. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 137. 10 minutes later, Xiaoro resurrected Tank. At this moment, Tank was covered in a blue-black animal skin, and his face was covered with blue wolf hair, just like Ian, the young city lord of Bayun City, and looked very different from ordinary orcs. After going berserk, he could even transform into a werewolf, and all attributes were increased by 30%. The duration was 5 minutes. This was Tank's gain. The only loss of the whole group was that the baby died and dropped 1 level, from level 17 to level 16, and from the first place in the light camp level ranking, the drop was invisible. Everyone felt sorry for him, and they all signaled Yechen with their eyes, hoping that he, the leader, could give a severe criticism. However, Yechen smiled slightly, and didn't mean that. Yes, he was just indulging. The baby is a lucky general. Although he may be unlucky sometimes, he will bring good luck most of the time, and the benefits outweigh the disadvantages. If you let him do whatever he wants, he may bring you a surprise. If you tie him up, it is equivalent to strangling his talent. If he is just an ordinary person, what use does Yechen have for him? It's okay, let him make a fuss, it doesn't matter if he loses a few levels. And this kid is smart, he has his own ideas about everything, he can see what we overlook. In the previous life, the Shang King evaluated the baby in this way, and Yechen directly applied it. You are so good at pretending. For a moment, everyone's eyes looked at Yechen a little different, with an indescribable feeling. Okay, Tank, you lead people to continue to complete the Alliance A-level mission, I have something to do and I have to leave first. Yechen nodded to everyone, teleported back to the city directly, and then left the city and continued to walk towards the White Mist Mountains. He still has a mission, which is to steal the Kinji old man's Kinji fan. Of course, it is not necessary to steal, as long as he gets the Kinji fan and gives it to the old man of appraisal, the mission will be completed. As for how to get the Kinji fan, the old man of appraisal will not care. If you want something on the monster, in addition to the chance of it exploding after killing the monster, the best way is to steal it. As for NPCs, they can also negotiate and exchange goods. About 20 minutes later, Yechen rode the somersault cloud to the White Mist Mountains again. After many days, people finally began to ride the somersault cloud and show off in the territory of the spiritual stone monkey. Haha, you guys want to get the somersault cloud? Don't be ridiculous, the somersault cloud is a rare item, not everyone can get it. That's right. It depends on your appearance. For example, I am quite handsome. I killed a spiritual stone monkey yesterday and got it, you. Tisk tisk, you are all ugly, it seems that you can't get it. Several guys riding the somersault cloud deliberately wandered around and pretended to be cool. Asshole. Many ordinary players stared at the somersault cloud, bleeding with envy. There are even female players who begged those high-end players to let them ride the somersault cloud, even if it's just to touch it. But at this moment, a huge and inflated somersault cloud came over, and the guy riding on it hummed, "I am the most handsome." So I exploded the biggest somersault cloud, and disappeared in a flash. Everyone was left with a look of ashamed expression, and those high-end players riding somersault clouds looked ashamed. They rode somersault clouds to show off, but who knew that someone had already ridden the father of somersault clouds? Entering the White Mist Mountains, Yechen found the old man Kinji with ease and explained his purpose. Kinji fan? Young man, what do you want my Kinji fan for? At your current level, I'm afraid you can't use it, the old man Kinji asked. He didn't refuse directly, which meant that Yechen still had a chance. Yechen rolled his eyes and sold the old appraiser directly. It's not me who wants it, but the appraiser master of Bayun City wants it, and he asked me to come here. Humph, that old guy, he can't help but covet others' good things. He is obviously a petty thief, and he turned a holy priest. Disgusting. The old man Kinji looked contemptuous. Well, young man, this Kinji fan is also very old, I can give it to you. The old man Kinji smiled and said, but you need to help me get some materials, I want to refine a new and better Kinji fan. There's a way. A smile appeared on Yechen's mouth, and he agreed. Then, the old man Kinji said the materials he needed. Although most of the materials were rare, they could be bought at the auction house. And Yechen now has a lot of spare money, so he bought them directly. In the end, there was only one kind left, 1,000-year-old phoenix wood. Young man, come find me when you have collected all the materials. Good luck, the old man Kinji smiled and turned back to his hut. Yechen's face was slightly solemn. There was no such tree as the phoenix in Bayun City, let alone the 1,000-year-old phoenix. There was a 1,000-year-old phoenix in the LV2 main city, Kinyu City. Kinyu City was later called Kyenyao City by players because there were many birds and beasts in the main city with feathers of various colors flying. Among them, there were also some divine birds, such as the phoenix. Legend has it that the phoenix lives on the 1,000-year-old phoenix tree. If Yechen happened to meet the phoenix in the past, it would be a joke. I heard that the phoenix is in charge of the blessings of the world. It often needs to go out to spread good fortune and will come back once in a long time. I shouldn't be so unlucky, right? And I'm a thief, so I'm not afraid of eggs. I found it on the phoenix. At worst, I'll retreat. Yechen comforted himself and set off for Kinyu City. It was so hummed up without the teleportation stone. It took him more than 10 hours to get to Kinyu City. Last time when he was doing the mission of the old man Kinji, he had also come to Kinyu City, but due to time constraints, he did not report to Kinyu City. Now he had plenty of time, so he went to the main city. As soon as he stepped in, a system prompt rang in his ears. System, congratulations on completing the hidden mission one step faster, and you will get 500,000 experience rewards, 1,000 copper coins, and the title Pioneer. Pioneer, purple grade. Level 1. Strength add 5. Physical strength add 5. Spirit add 5. Intelligence add 5. Movement speed add 10%. Note, this item cannot be traded. Yechen smiled slightly. Now, he already has 5 titles: Great Kind Man, Perceiver, Hidden Weapon Master, Pioneer, Butcher. Of course, he only has 3 title slots, and can only equip 3 titles. It is the same in the later stage. There are too many titles to equip, so you can only choose titles with good attributes. So there is no need to make some junk titles, it is a complete waste of time. But everyone has a collecting habit to some extent. Yechen is also an ordinary person, he is special. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 138. After getting the title, Yechen turned around and left the city, riding a somersault cloud, heading towards the west. System, you discovered the Wutong Forest, recognition add 10. About 5 hours later, Yechen came to a forest full of sycamore trees. The straight trunks and fiery red leaves were very different from ordinary sycamore trees. Chirp. Suddenly, a loud phoenix call aroused Yechen's alert. He was so frightened that he trembled and immediately used stealth to become invisible. A moment later, a fiery red divine bird with colorful rays of light all over its body flew through the sky, and a rainbow rose wherever it passed. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. At the same time, it also sheds golden light spots. As a result, countless light spots descended, giving the sycamore forest vitality. Countless wild beasts were howling, thanking the phoenix for its gift. System, you have received the blessing of Phoenix, all attributes are at 100%, skill effects are at 1000%, and rare item explosion rate is +%. Duration, 1 hour. Tisk, tisk, it is indeed a mythical beast. Any skill is so awesome. Yachen was so frightened that his jaw almost dropped to the ground, but the phoenix is a mythical beast after all, and its whereabouts are elusive. It was his luck to see the phoenix, and it was the luck of luck to receive the blessing. All attributes add 100%. Skill effect add 1000%. Yachen only feels that he is now very powerful. He can kill bosses like pigs and dogs, like the sky-swallowing beasts in the White Mist Mountains, and the black-winged snake demon in the basement of Medusa's palace. He is now confident of killing them alone. Then there is the +% explosion rate of rare items. That's 100 times. Although it is said that the explosion rate of all rare items is very low, it is always 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000, but now it is directly increased by 100 times, which also increases the probability infinitely. Now he goes to fight the boss, and the explosion rate is astonishing. It's a pity that Fuse's buff only lasts for an hour. Even if he wanted to fight the boss, it would be too late. So, he decided to get the 1,000-year-old sycamore wood. Completing the task was the most important thing at the moment. Now is the best opportunity. Phoenix has just gone out and will definitely not come back in a short time. Somersault Cloud. Yachen summoned a somersault cloud and rode it, shuttling through the forest like a gust of wind. All attributes add 100%. Doubling his speed. But he was still not satisfied. Seeing a level 25 violent bear in front of him, he immediately jumped from the somersault cloud and easily killed the violent bear with 2 skills. Before the corpse fell to the ground, he whipped it with a shadow attack and then added a finishing blow. The shadow stretches. Call out. In an instant, Yachen flew across 1,000 yards. It's so cool. It's so cool. Thousands of yards away, Yachen couldn't help but shout. He was a level 15 assassin, and he was surprised to have skill effects that only level 7 or 80 players could have. Rapidity represents efficiency. In less than 10 minutes, a particularly tall sycamore tree appeared in front of him. Its trunk was so thick that it was impossible to hold it without 4 or 5 adults hugging it. Obviously, this is the Millennium Wutong. Yachen rushed forward and tried to cut a piece of wood out of the tree trunk with a sharp dagger. However, the trunk of this 1,000-year-old sycamore tree was as hard as iron. When he hit it with his dagger, it was like hitting metal, and there was a clang sound. There was no way, the trunk was too hard, so I had to climb up and get the branches. Yachen touched his chin and thought for a second, thinking that the branches wouldn't be so hard. Immediately, he raised his head and glanced at the huge 1,000-year-old sycamore tree. He couldn't see the end at a glance. God knows how high it was. How are you going to climb here? Let's use Shadow Strike to gain strength. After making up his mind, Yachen looked around, looking for monsters he could attack. There were very few monsters in the sycamore forest, and it took Yachen several minutes to find another violent bear. After killing it with the same method, Yachen teleported to a high tree trunk. At a distance of nearly 1,000 yards, he still didn't jump to the top of the 1,000-year-old sycamore tree. Yachen sighed and continued to crawl up the tree trunk. Fortunately, his attributes were doubled and his speed was doubled. The crawling speed was very fast. After almost 10 minutes, he jumped to the top of the tree. No, this is not a treetop, it is simply a luxurious palace. There are all kinds of gold and silver treasures, and in a huge bird's nest, there are 2 giant white eggs. This egg is very big, even bigger than Yachen. This can't be a phoenix egg, right? There are 2 more. He he he, he he he, ha ha ha. Ye Chen laughed like crazy, decisively turned on the automatic pickup, and tried to get the phoenix egg away. However, the phoenix egg did not react at all. Not only that, all kinds of gold and silver treasures were also lying quietly on the ground without any reaction. Ye Chen slapped his forehead, smiled bitterly and sighed, "Hey, the phoenix is a divine beast. How can it not set up a barrier to protect its children?" After giving a wry smile, Ye Chen moved his eyes away from the phoenix egg, ran to the edge of the tree top, and looked down. The scenery here is very good, with many mountains and small mountains at a glance. Baiyun City, Qinyu City, and other major cities were all visible to Ye Chen like a map. After Ye Chen took photos as a souvenir, he swung his knife again and used the sharp dagger to chop off a small piece of the 1,000-year-old sycamore tree. At this moment, the task was completed. But he was reluctant to leave. What about the barrier? If you can't pick up things, you can steal them. So, he took the time to squat beside the phoenix egg and used the LV-10 thief crazily. And this is not an ordinary LV-10 thief, its effect has been increased by 10 times. He, Phoenix, you can't imagine it, you gave me fuse, but I used it to steal your son. Ye Chen laughed twice, glanced at the remaining time of fuse, and found that there were only more than 20 minutes. He accelerated the time and took the CD medicine. This phoenix egg is indeed worthy of being a product of a divine beast. It is actually spiritual. Ye Chen used stealing, and they actually resisted and rolled left and right. He, don't be naughty, just follow daddy obediently. Ye Chen laughed and kept doing it. After 10 minutes, Ye Chen still didn't steal the phoenix egg, but a terrifying giant python climbed to the top of the tree. The inverted pupils and the swallowing snake tongue released a cold breath. This giant python is pitch black with red patterns, and is about 15 yards long. It is obvious that it has also benefited a lot from the blessing of the phoenix. However, it climbed to the top of the tree to steal the phoenix eggs. It turned its back to Ye Chen and pounced. Perception. When the giant python was about to swallow Ye Chen in one gulp, Ye Chen suddenly sensed something and ran away. Bang! The giant python seemed to hit an invisible barrier, and stars appeared in its eyes. Level. HP. Skills. Ye Chen's eyes showed all question marks. However, he was still not afraid. Now that he was in the blessing, what was there to fear? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 139. A second later, the giant python woke up. It looked at the phoenix egg so close to it. The greed in its eyes could not be concealed at all. It ignored Ye Chen and madly hit the invisible barrier with its iron head. Bang! SB, can you easily destroy the barrier set by the divine beast? Ye Chen sneered and looked at the crazy and greedy giant python. He couldn't help but despise it in his heart. This bastard, who got the favor of the phoenix, was not grateful, but actually wanted to steal the phoenix egg. It's even more shameless than himself. I just want to steal a phoenix egg and hatch a divine pet to play with, which is understandable. You stinky guy, you deserve to die. Compared with the giant python, Ye Chen felt that he was very noble. His eyes condensed and his figure rushed out like a ghost. Stun. 2405. He released the 10 times stun effect together with Xiao He, 20 times. The giant python was directly stunned. Break the martial art. Poison. Afterwards, Ye Chen activated the buff in seconds, used the spinning thorn to accumulate combo points, turned his body sharply, and the sharp dagger instantly cut the python's throat. Throat slash and final blow. Kill. the probability of triggering a fatal blow is doubled by 10 times, and a fatal blow is made. At the same time, the damage of the kill is also doubled by 10 times. Poof, blood gushed out like a waterfall dash. The terrible damage came out from the top of the python's head. Yachen couldn't see the HP of the python because of insufficient recognition, but there was a blood bar on the top of the monster's head. At this moment, this blood bar dropped by 1/3. This can be vaguely inferred that the HP of this python is as high as 50,000. The python was severely injured, and its scales began to tighten, becoming like steel, and its defense ability skyrocketed. At the same time, the red spots on its body glowed, and it actually shot out strands of red flashes. Yachen was caught off guard and was hit by 2 red flashes, and his HP plummeted to half. Fortunately, his attributes doubled, and the hegemony effect of Po Wuju was doubled 10 times, otherwise, he would have been killed instantly. Yachen's eyes condensed, knocked off a bottle of potion, and continued to attack. The sharp dagger slashed on the giant python's steel-like skin, and a clang metal explosion sound was heard, and the damage was greatly reduced. The red spots on the giant python's body became dim after emitting red flashes, flashing, as if accumulating energy. And it continued to hit the barrier with its iron head, ignoring Yachen at all. More than 10 seconds later, Yachen's skills cooled down and hit again. The giant python was directly beaten to residual blood. But at this time, the red spots on the giant python accumulated full energy, and shot flashes again, sweeping 360 degrees without dead angles, and Yachen's HP plummeted to residual blood. Suddenly, the giant python gave up hitting the barrier, cunningly pounced, and instantly wrapped Yachen up, shrinking, and tightening. Bang bang bang. Yachen's entire body was tied up by the giant python. He struggled painfully, but the tighter it was tied, the more his bones were dislocated and made a muffled sound, and he couldn't move at all. In panic, he thought about it, and a bottle of potion flashing with sacred light appeared in his hand. This bottle of potion was stolen from Suan Wuo, a special instant recovery potion. Effect: instantly restore HP and MP. At this moment, his whole body was tied up, his hands and feet could not move, and it was impossible to send the potion to his mouth. However, he couldn't move, but Xiao He could move. He picked up the potion and stuffed it into Yachen's mouth with a grin, as if cheating. Tisk, Yachen still had a last trace of blood, and it suddenly recovered. Then, under Yachen's order, Xiao He picked up the dagger and madly chiseled the 7-inch part of the giant python. The giant python roared in pain, and its coiled and tightened body loosened. Yachen took the opportunity to chop it with a dagger, and Shadow Attack teleported away. 10 yards away, Yachen's figure flashed out, and the fierce battle had ignited the blood in his heart. He tightened the red flame dagger in his hand, his eyes were sharp, but he was not in a hurry to rush out. After the special instant recovery potion was used up, he had no trump card. If he rushed out rashly, he would probably be killed by the giant python. He had to wait for the cooling of the martial arts breaking technique. On the other side, the giant python's inverted pupils shrank more and more, and the cold eyes seemed to be able to freeze everything. However, it was also like Yachen, not daring to act rashly. It was also waiting for its red spots to accumulate full energy again. This time, the giant python was obviously much more afraid. It stopped hitting the barrier and concentrated on fighting Yachen. Humph, its red spots can accumulate full energy in 20 seconds at most. I can't outlast it. Fight. Low-level mental stimulation elixir. Yachen roared and rushed forward. The python's pupils shrank and it prepared for battle, but it suddenly felt a pain in its head. Yachen had Xiao He, so he certainly knew how to use him at critical moments. His charge was just a cover. Under his command, Xiao He rushed out first. A club stuns the python. Ha ha. Chen laughed loudly, rushed forward, and overlapped with Xiaohei, outputting crazily, spinning stab plus normal attack, and after accumulating enough points, he used throat smear plus finishing blow equals lore to hit the first wave. Afterwards, Chen's club connected again, went around behind it, and after accumulating enough combo points, he was ready to use piercing the heart to take it away. A red light suddenly shot out and pierced the python, but the python fell down, surprisingly light. It turned out to be just a snake skin. Escape. Chen's eyes condensed and found that the real python had already escaped a distance. At this moment, it was panting violently, and the red spots on its body became extremely dim. I'm afraid it would not be possible to accumulate enough energy in a short time. This is probably the side effect of escaping from the shell. At this time, Chen's skills were also exhausted. Seeing that the giant python was also at low health, he wanted to escape but couldn't bear to, and wanted to rush but didn't dare to rush up. He was immediately happy and didn't rush forward. He ordered Xiaohei to attack, and he kept throwing darts. Half a minute later, Chen's martial arts skill cooled down, and he released it decisively. At this moment, he was no longer afraid. Just as he was about to rush out, the giant python rushed over violently, and counterattacked before death. The giant python moved quickly, pounced like a swimming dragon, and its sharp iron tail whipped Chen's chest, and then pulled it down. With a squeak, Chen's golden equipment, the dark cloak, was completely written off. At the same time, his chest was also cut open, and a stream of hot blood shot out like a sharp arrow, and sprinkled on the phoenix egg. When passing through the transparent barrier, it was exactly the place where the giant python had hit with its iron head before. For a moment, the realm flickered, and the part that was hit actually cracked, and blood spilled smoothly into it and landed on one of the phoenix eggs. The egg rolled twice and then became quiet again. All this happened in just a moment. No one noticed, including Chen. What a vicious skill, it can actually destroy other people's equipment. Chen narrowed his eyes dangerously, and he was still feeling sorry for his golden equipment being destroyed. But he didn't know that he got the most precious thing, the phoenix egg. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 140. Swish. A hideous bloodline spread from Chen's chest to his lower abdomen, and the dark cloak was torn in half and fell down lightly. In the state of Po Wuju, Chen was bare-chested, and his body was flowing with golden and red light. In Dream World, equipment will have a durability attribute, which is the same as the damage degree in ordinary online games. The more durability is consumed, the higher the repair cost. When the durability is 0, the equipment has no effect. The shield warrior's weapon is weakened, which means that the enemy's weapon durability is reduced to 0 for 3 seconds. However, 0 durability does not mean that the equipment is damaged. After repair, it is still brand new. From this, it can be seen how evil the skills of the giant python are. A piece of Chen's gold equipment can be sold for at least 30,000 or 40,000, right? Just write it off like this. Damn it! Chen cursed, and jumped up directly, killing the remaining blood giant python with a set of skills. Swish, golden light flashed. This giant python must have been killed first, and there was a gorgeous explosion. At the same time, Chen's experience bar soared a lot, directly reaching level 17. He didn't know what level boss this giant python was, but it actually exploded several level 70 equipment. I think its level is around level 70. Level 70 equipment is far beyond the reach of current players, that is, store goods. Chen was too lazy to pick it up, so he picked up one of the purple equipment. Then, his eyes lit up, and this giant python actually exploded a scroll. Strike, special skill instant, physical attack 390%, when attacking, there is a 1% chance to destroy the equipment of the hit part. Very good. Very powerful. This wave is worth it. A smile appeared on Ye Chen's mouth. Because the strike is a special skill, it is not limited to professions or levels, and he can learn it now. This is an output skill, and the percentage is quite high. LV1 is 390%, terrible. This is exactly what Ye Chen lacks now, and he was a little upset that his gold equipment was destroyed just now. Now that this skill has been revealed, he can destroy other people's equipment in the future. This is quite interesting. After cleaning up the spoils, Ye Chen glanced at Fu Ziyi's duration again and found that it was less than 10 minutes. Ye Chen's eyes condensed, and he hurried to steal eggs. However, from beginning to end, he did not steal the phoenix eggs, but he didn't know that one of the phoenix eggs had already belonged to him. Swish. After 10 minutes, a ray of light dissipated from Ye Chen's body, and the terrifying power no longer existed, which made him feel a chill in his heart. Fu Ziyi disappeared. It will be very dangerous for me to stay here. Apart from anything else, if another giant python comes, I will definitely die. Ye Chen sighed, looking at the phoenix egg with reluctance, and he was determined to use the teleportation stone to return to the city. Suddenly, a bright red piece of wood grew out from under his feet. This is not the essence of the 1,000-year-old phoenix tree. Ye Chen was so excited that he trembled all over. This newly born piece of wood was obviously not protected by a barrier. He squatted down and picked it up. Before leaving, he could still gain something. Ye Chen's unhappiness disappeared. He took a last look at the phoenix egg and crushed the teleportation stone back to the city. Then, he went straight to the White Mist Mountains. Young man, did you really take the 1,000-year-old phoenix tree? Ye Chen disappeared for a whole day and reappeared nearly 24 hours later with a confident look. The old man Qinji's heart could not help but be agitated. What's a 1,000-year-old phoenix tree? Let me show you this. Ye Chen smiled and handed the bright red piece of wood to the old man Qinji. The old man Qinji's beard trembled, and his body retreated violently, almost falling to the ground. This is the essence of the 1,000-year-old phoenix tree. The old man Qinji was ecstatic and couldn't believe it. As he said, he stretched out his hand to grab it. Hey! Ye Chen deliberately let go, stretched out the ending tone, and showed a meaningful smile. Don't you want 1,000-year-old phoenix wood? I have it here. As he said, he took out a small branch of the 1,000-year-old phoenix tree. If it were normal, the old man Qinji would naturally be overjoyed, but now that he saw the essence of the 1,000-year-old phoenix tree, he looked down on this one. Human nature is greedy. Who would look at those worse ones when there are better ones? Young man, don't tease me anymore. The old man Qinji smiled bitterly, but his eyes were looking at the bright red wood in Ye Chen's hand with great greed. That look was like a bachelor who had abstained from sex for many years, staring at a naked, beautiful girl wrapped in a transparent veil. Okay, you give me the redwood and the branch. The redwood belongs to me, and I will use this 1,000-year-old phoenix tree branch to make you a Qinji fan, at least a gold equipment. The old man Qinji smiled mysteriously. Golden equipment? Tisk tisk, you can make golden equipment with a branch, then what can you make with this essence of mahogany? It can't be a holy weapon, right? Ye Chen sneered, not satisfied at all. Elder Qinji also smiled awkwardly. He suddenly felt that this kid in front of him was too damn difficult to deal with. He actually controlled this famous master of hidden weapons. Add another rare skill of hidden weapon flow. Elder Qianyao seemed to be willing to give it all. As he spoke, he opened a light curtain in the sky with his bare hands, which displayed the attributes of the rare skill. This chapter is not over yet. Please click the next page to continue reading. Stun dart, instant, shoots a golden dart, physical attack 180%, after hitting the enemy, there is a 50% chance to stun the target. Cooldown time, 25 seconds. Restricted profession, thief, restricted level, 15. Yeah, this is good. Ye Chen smiled. All the skills of the hidden weapon flow are rare skills, very difficult to obtain. And this stun dart has a chance to stun the enemy, which is one of the high-end skills. Ye Chen was very tempted, and finally pointed to his bare arms and said with a smile, "Master, since you are so generous, how about giving me another piece of gold leather armor?" The dark cloak was reimbursed, and Ye Chen's strength dropped sharply by 80 points. The basic attack power also decreased, which he didn't want to see. Ordinary purple equipment can't make up for it at all. You must have at least one piece of gold equipment to keep up with the damage. Now that he has this opportunity, why doesn't he take the opportunity to blackmail him? That essence mahogany is the material of the holy weapon. What's wrong with asking this old man to bleed a little? Ye Chen himself feels that he is at a disadvantage. Huh. The old man Kinji exhaled a breath of turbid air, and was almost amused by Ye Chen's shamelessness. Well, I happen to have a leather armor that I don't need. If you like it, take it. As he said, a black cloak flashed in the old man Kinji's hand. Shadow cloak, gold quality. Level 20. Physical defense add 185. Strength add 120. Agility add 120. Physical strength add 10. Intelligence add 10. Spirit add 10. Special effect, Shadow attack LV add 2. Special effect, Stealth invisibility time, extended by 30%. Special effect, in stealth state, critical strike probability when attacking add 100%.